Milan Panic, Prime Minister of the rump state of Yugoslavia, voiced welcome views at the London conference last week, but his message of peace and reconciliation is rejected by Serbs at home. The businessman, who was welcomed back to Belgrade this summer after 35 years in America, may now be voted out of office. Slobodan Milosevic, the Serbian leader blamed for fomenting most of the fighting in the former Yugoslavia, is trying to engineer Mr. Panic's downfall. Yesterday, Serbs from Kosovo, backing Milosevic, accused Mr. Panic of encouraging Albanian separatists in the province. The gulf between Panic and Milosevic looks unbridgeable. Mr. Panic has always been considered an oddball with little experience of politics, recruited to improve the Serbs' image.
Mr. Panic was only a front man, and he played a very useful role for Mr. Milosevic, a public relations role, in deterring the West from taking up tougher sanctions and perhaps intervening militarily in Bosnia. He fulfilled that purpose, then he suddenly became too independent. And now the question is, does Mr. Milosevic get rid of him quickly, which I think he will, and what happens next?
More violence seems the only likelihood if one of the few men of peace in the former Yugoslavia does disappear. In Sarajevo today, there was a heavy bombardment from Serbian guns. Prospects for the new peace conference in Geneva this week look bleak.
The Serbian big guns surrounding Sarajevo have been pounding the Bosnian capital once again. One of the main aims of last week's London Peace Conference was to end this heavy shelling, which has killed and wounded so many. The president of Bosnia's Serbs, Radovan Karadzic, has just met UN commanders to thrash out future UN supervision of the Serbian heavy artillery. The president said he had ordered the big guns around 4 cities, including Sarajevo, to be collected under UN observers.
We will defend ourselves when we are attacked, only when we are attacked.
The president then invited ITN to visit one of his batteries overlooking Sarajevo. We found 4 howitzers easily capable of hitting the center of the city only 5 miles away. All were well dug in. No guns had been moved here recently as part of the collection process agreed in London. 3 UN soldiers are billeted nearby. They're supposed to monitor 5 firing positions like this one, an impossible task. One of the young Serbian artillerymen is actually firing on his own city. He said he'd prefer to destroy his home rather than have the enemy live in it. This big howitzer was firing on the outskirts of Sarajevo only yesterday.
And a huge amount of work remains to be done before these big guns surrounding Bosnia's cities fall silent.
Do they ever attack with artillery? Do they attack? Small rocket launchers.
Okay, yeah.
French that doing the escort, that there is still fighting in the area, but we are loading, ready to go at 5 o'clock, and hope the fighting will be over and that it's possible to get into Karasta.
This is a very difficult problem. There have been many raised hopes over the last year, many feelings of breakthroughs. I think we want to get the process understood. Very difficult, time-consuming, and detailed process. Principles were established at the London Conference, which we are determined.
The United Nations took care of peacekeeping. On the other hand, peacemaking and peace building was the responsibility of the European community. Now these have been brought together, they've melded.
Your right body screw, 1, 3.
We have agreed to continue working together to try to bring peace here and end this war.
a kasnije i ponovo kad smo mogli da odemo, nismo, jednostavno to je prkos, to je inat, to je jednostavno neće nas.
A, sruši se. Kokuva karata se sruši.
Ajde,
So how do you feel about shooting into Sarajevo?
I feel terrible, but I must understand me. I must for my life, only for my life, for my territory, for my future.
Tu sam odrastao, u školu išao sa njima i to mi još teže pada nego kad neko sa strane me gađa.
Sve ćete ja što sam povukao. Ovo ti je ko da im pokaže.
Jedno tajno! Zajedno!